Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It is beautiful outside, so I'm so excited to film. I'm going to be doing my very first Q&A. I wrote down all of your questions and I'm going to answer them, and I will also explain who my two giveaway winners are, which is really exciting. So let's go ahead and get started because I have lots of questions to answer. The first comes from a girl named Jenna Fannin. I think it's how I say your last name. She had two questions. She said, favorite all-time makeup brand, which is really hard. I actually thought a lot about this when I first wrote this question down. I'm going to actually give a high end and a low end. I think for high end, I have to pick Too Faced. I absolutely love so many products from Too Faced line that I definitely think that they'd be my #1 for high end. And then for drugstore base, I'm going to go ahead and say Maybelline. Their just makeup, I don't know, just speaks to me. She also wants to know what product could you not do without, and I have to say mascara. I think even if I were doing like an eyeshadow look, it never looks quite right until I put mascara on. So Jazzy788 said, if you could go visit anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? I really want to go to London. Harry Potter Museum is in London. I have always been infatuated with British literature and just all of the rich culture and history in England in general. But that is the place I'd like to go to. I just think it's an awesome area, and I hope to one day get there. Angelique Dang said, do you have any children? No, ma'am. I am only 26. I do not want children right now. I'm still figuring out my life path. I also don't want to raise children in a city. Divide that by 9, please, says, what is your top fave 3 to 5 things about living in New England? My first and favorite thing is I have 4 distinct seasons. They're not all the best seasons, but I get 4 different seasons, and that means a lot to me. Other parts in the country, I don't feel like you get 4 distinct seasons, so it's a really cool, unique part of New England. I also like the history that's in New England. A lot of pretty historical things took place in this part of the country, and that's really awesome. Also, my 2 favorite cities are in New England because I'm going to include New York here. New York City and Boston are just my favorite cities. Angie Anti-Love says, what is your favorite childhood movie and or current movie? This is really hard. I am a huge movie person. I think my current favorite movie probably would be either A Walk to Remember or Stardust. I probably can watch those movies over and over again, but I love movies. I'm just a huge movie person. Childhood movie, any Disney movie. Aladdin, Little Mermaid, those are probably my 2 favorites of all time, but like I also love Road to El Dorado, I love Mulan, like literally any Disney animated, like we're talking like hand-drawn animated movie was my jam when I was a child. Sarah Baldwin says, what is your favorite thing about living in Boston? I think for me, it's just that there's always something going on. Like over the summer, I did Zumba by the Charles River with my gym, which sponsored that. It was like, we're talking like 200 people doing Zumba, which was awesome. My sister and I were able to take her dog Oz to Fenway for Dog Day at Fenway. Like there are just tons of things happening, so you can make your time in the city what you want it to be. If you want to do nothing, you can do nothing. If you want to do 100 things, there are 100 things going on. Like this Saturday, there's a free concert happening by the Charles River that I want to go to. So I just like that there are just so many things happening. I'm going to say this name wrong. Oh, Alzala? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. It says, what beauty product have you splurged the most on? And it's actually really funny you asked that because that product just came in the mail today. I purchased the Hourglass limited edition palette. I don't know. I feel really weird about having purchased it. It was $80, which is insane. Asked me a year ago if I would have spent that on a product for makeup, and I would have been like, absolutely not. No freaking way. But I really always wanted this, and I don't know. We'll see. If I don't end up liking it, I will definitely maximize my right to return it, but this is the product I've ever spent the most money on. Oh, it's cringeworthy how much money it is, but I'm hoping that I like it, and then part of me is hoping that I absolutely hate it and return it because it was super expensive. Ariana Castellano says, do you have any unusual talents? I don't. I used to be able to, when I was younger, shake my eyes or make my eyes wiggle. I can't really do it anymore, I think, because as I get older and my eyes get more terrible in condition, I'm not able to do that. But no, I don't really have anything special talent-wise about me. Katie at Neverland says, do your students know you do YouTube? Yes. There are, I would say, a good chunk of my students that know. How they found out, no idea how they came across me. She says, if so, what's their reaction / do they watch your videos? Yes, there are students that have watched my videos. And my kind of unspoken rule, like I've never really talked to the students about it, is that it's just like any other social media. I don't care if you watch my channel. I just won't let them be subscribed or comment on my videos. I just don't think it's appropriate. It's just the same thing with friending me on Facebook or following me on like Twitter or Instagram. It's not something that I'm just willing to allow them to have. If they want to watch me, cool, awesome, great. But that's where it kind of ends. Watch me all you want, but let's not make it something that we, discuss or talk about, because again, that's outside of the classroom, and I view it like any other social media. As far as the reaction, I don't really know. Some of them kind of been like, they kind of like sass me about it, which it doesn't bother me. I'm talking about makeup. Like, there's nothing, yeah, it might be a little bit strange or weird for them, but as far as I know, I just do my job each day and I focus on that versus my YouTube channel. Miranda Pierce says, have I ever thought about being a principal? No, I do not want to be a principal. I did not join education to be an administrator. For me, it's a lot of politics and paperwork, and that's not why I wanted to become a teacher. I could see myself ever leaving teaching. I would be to do one of two things. It would be to either be a department head where I'm overseeing a district department, or if I was going to oversee curriculum for a school district. That interests me, but I really love working with students. Yeah, we have a lot of bad days, but I just did this for students. That was my main driving force, and I think that's what's going to always keep me in the classroom. Kelly Maves or Marv said, at what age did you start getting into makeup? I actually really didn't wear any makeup until about junior year of high school. And by wearing makeup in high school, I maybe threw some mascara on, and I would throw some eyeliner on, and that would be it. I think I got more into makeup in college, but it wasn't really until I discovered YouTube and discovered getting Birchbox that I think my makeup love really kicked off. And I would say that I think that was about, I don't know, when I was 22, I think, is when that happened. So it hasn't been that long. I always appreciated people's makeup, but I never knew how to do it to my face, which was such a bother for me. So thank God for YouTube, because it's ultimately changed my whole makeup life. Haley Bishop says, where would you travel if you were given an all-expense paid vacation? Oh, definitely England. Laura Sandoval said, are you and Ben thinking of getting married in the near future? Not in the near future. We know we want to marry each other. That's a conversation that we've had, but I don't know if I've talked much about this. Ben and I have been together since I was a senior in high school, and he's a year behind me. It'll be 9 years this February, but we spent our relationship 4 years long distance. So this past year, my first year being in Boston, was our first time being in the same state, living together, and it's been really awesome to have our relationship develop over the course of that. I mean, we had no idea what it was going to look like when we were on a regular basis seeing each other every single day, living together, which is a totally new experience. It's in our horizon, just not anytime in the near future, and that's probably fine with me, because at this point we're content with where we are, and I'm quite happy with it. She also said, what does Ben do? Ben is a project manager for a online company called Wayfair. He's kind of like the go-between guy, where the company will want to do something to their website for sales purposes, and he'll work with the engineers to see if that's a possibility or how they can go about making the vision take place. He really likes it. Wayfair.com. If you watch HGTV, you probably have seen commercials for them or advertising, but they're pretty big in Boston. I don't know about anywhere else in the country. At Home with Janet says, what's your favorite TV show from the 90s? This is so hard, because remember, I was a child growing up in the 90s, and I feel like cartoons were on the prime of cartoon watching. I just absolutely love them. However, I also loved a lot of other random shows as I got a little bit older. I absolutely loved Xena, Warrior Princess. I freaking love Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I loved like the Wild Thornberrys. I was a Rugrats kid. I watched a lot of cartoons, a lot of Nickelodeon television shows, Real Monsters. Like, those were all my favorites. I could probably still go back and watch them, like Hey Arnold. I was a big cartoon person. I still am. I still like to watch animated movies. Like, I own Frozen. I saw that in theaters. I just recently watched Home, and that was really good, a very underrated movie. So it's hard for me to pick just one. Jennifer H. says, what would be the first thing you do if you won the lottery? Pay off my medical bills. I have quite a few medical bills to pay off from my hospitalization for my kidney last April, which kind of sucks. I would definitely do that first and foremost, and then I probably would help Ben pay off his college loans because those really suck. RisingsouthII-Claimed said, do you collect anything special? Makeup. I would say makeup is the only thing I collect. Aside from that, I don't really have anything in particular, aside from books. I tend to read a lot of young adult books because I freaking love young adult books, and for my classroom. So if I ever have a classroom again where I can have my students do free reading, I collect books for that. Teens Review asked a bunch of questions. She said, what grade do you teach? I teach 2 grades. I teach 9th and 11th grade English at a local high school. She says, what's your favorite dupe of all time from Elf? I don't know a lot of dupes. I'm not a dupe-oriented person, probably because I don't own a lot of high-end makeup products to compare to Elf, but my favorite Elf product would have to be the Elf Daily Brush Cleanser. Stuff is my jam. She also said, do you have a dream job you would prefer over teaching? And I actually do, and that would be being the Little Mermaid or truly any Disney princess at Disney. I have always been infatuated with their job because they like literally get to create a child's dream every single day. And just seeing a little kid's face when they see a real life version of their favorite Disney character, there are no words for that. And to know that I would be that, like I would be their memory of seeing their favorite Disney character, the Little Mermaid, I think that would be incomparable. It would be so much fun. It's never gonna happen, but that would be like my joking dream backup job. I'm True61 said, what are some of your best tips for couponing for beginners? Use sheets. There are so many blogs like the Hip to Save blog that do essentially all the work for you. They break down the deals. They tell you where to find coupons, tell you what coupons to use. That is how I got to understand couponing. Without those blogs, I'm not sure I would have actually gotten to a place where I really know how to coupon. So thank goodness for them because I would have been lost. So definitely follow one of those blogs. There are tons out there. My favorite just tends to be Hip to Save, but there are just multitudes of them to choose from. Katie Hudgins says, if you could choose anywhere to live, where would it be? It's so tricky. I don't know. I think if I were to go anywhere, it would be London. There was a student that in college, there was a transfer student or a study abroad student from London, and him and I got along really well. Like, I understood his sense of humor. I watched a lot of British television shows. I just think that I would do well in that particular area, or city, I should say. I guess I've always wanted to be there. Can you tell that I have like a London fixation or an England fixation? It's kind of a problem. And she also said, favorite book and movie. My favorite books, this changes all the time. Harry Potter series, duh. Eleanor and Park from Rainbow Roswell is such a good book. It literally made me cry. The Fault in Our Stars, yup, that's up there. There are so many. I just recently read Red Queen, which was really, really good. I can't pick one. Like, books are my life. I absolutely adore reading books, especially young adult novels. They're my favorite. I'm loving the Walking Dead comic books right now. So to pick just one, I can't do it, but I could go on for days about books. Favorite movie, also can't do it. I could go on for days about those. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love The Gift, which I recently saw. Like, just so many. And favorite dessert, all desserts. I'm not picky about desserts. I love food. I love to eat. Ice cream, high up there. Cupcakes, all day. Cake, yep, Brownies. Oh yeah, sure. Cookies. Yep, great. I could just eat dessert for a living. It would not bother me, just my body would not tolerate it. So that can't happen. Last questions come from Angel Jimenez. She said, how old are you? I am 26 years old. So if you ever were to have kids, what names do you like? Okay. I like really weird names. For a girl, Lydia. I just adore that name. I'm hoping I never have a student who ruins that name for me. For boys, I love Ezra. I love the name Coleman. Like I said, weird names. I don't know why. Probably because my name isn't a super common name. My one rule, though, for names is the same rule that applies to my name. You don't shorten it. You're not going to have a nickname. I'm not going to call you Bethany and then your name is Beth. No. You're going to be called your full name. That's going to be like my policy. It's the same thing with me. I am not Tor, Tori, or Vicky. I am Victoria. I just like names that aren't very common. I think part of that also comes from the fact that Ben has a really common name, and it drives me insane that you can say Ben in a room and 8 people will turn. So I just like really unique names, and I hope I never have a student ruin a name for me because I don't know what I'll do. She also said, how long have you been teaching? This is my 4th year teaching. Yeah, 4 years, which is kind of crazy when I think about that. It's been 4 years and I've taught at 2 different schools. Those are all my questions. Thank you guys for sending in those questions. I think Q&As are really fun. I've never done one before. Just the thing with tags, I always like to do tag videos and I never actually do them. So if you guys want more of these, let me know in the comments below and I can figure out a way to do that. Now to my giveaway winners. Thank you guys so much for entering. There are 2 of them. First I have is Rising South II, and then Katie Hudgins is my second winner. If you both could please either email me at victoria.l.joyce@gmail.com or message me on YouTube, I really appreciate that. I'm going to ask that you do so within 48 hours. After that, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to select a new winner or winners. So please, please, please respond to me. I'm super excited for this. Thank you guys so much for entering and supporting me. It means so much to be able to do this and to be a part of a community where people understand me and appreciate the makeup love that I share, because I don't think I get to talk about it enough with my regular friends, and I just love having this outlet. All right, guys, that's it for me, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.